There are plenty of fish in the sea, both in our world and in Pokemon. Despite making up only 5% of the population, water types commit to making up 15% of all Pokemon. This has left plenty of options for fish lovers of all kinds to enjoy. From the fierce Gyarados to the majestic Milotic, there's no shortage of cool, cute, and all-around awesome beasts to find. But with almost 1,000 unique Pokemon out there, some of them are just bound to be, well, trubbish. For every badass sea taxi, there are kind of just normal-looking fish. Sometimes the design team takes some creative liberty to make itself more distinct, but rarely there's a situation where I can just look at a Pokemon and think, yeah, that's a fish. And that's where Basculin comes in. He's a badass ghost water type that is actually a spiritual projection of all the fish that died trying to swim upstream. It is an embodiment of pure rage based on the real-life salmon migration and... Wait. No, this footage is from a spin-off game. This is the real Basculin. Look at his fish-like fins, his smooth scales, his aerodynamic body. Yep, that is just a fish, and I love him. For a competitive player like me, though, unique looks aren't everything. You need strong stats to back them up, and Basculin is utterly average. Maybe somewhat below average, depending on the generation. The truth is Basculin is completely forgettable, both in terms of looks and performance. But that won't stop me from loving him, and here's how I plan to show him off. There are a few main categories in competitive Pokemon, with each level being more restrictive than the last. First there's OU, or overused Pokemon. These are generally the best of the best, and almost all Pokemon can be used in this tier. Below this is UU, or underused, RU, or rarely used, NU, or never used, and PU, which is theorized to mean any of the following. Perfectly useless, piddlingly used, particularly underwhelming, painfully uninspiring, or penguin umbrella. Basculin is ranked just under this tier. With that being said, you'd think I'd try and fight in the lowest common denominator of all the tiers. But the truth is, in each of these categories, there's something called the species clause. This prevents you from using the same Pokemon multiple times on a team. The only tier that allows you to use as many Pokemon of the same species as you want is Anything Goes, a tier which has a name to match its description. You can find teams made entirely of monsters like Mega Rayquaza here, and so I thought it would be a perfect fit for Basculin. Here's a quick look at my team of 6 that I put together for this. I thought that I would make it as diversified as possible, with all-out attackers, speedy attackers, defensive attackers, and a lot of attackers. This one knows how to go underwater, though. That's something. Look, let's just get into the first battle. My opponent had a team of all-around interesting Pokemon. None of them were particularly crazy in terms of raw power, but there were definitely some threats. I was certain half of them could one-shot my Basculin, which put me in a very bad situation. The first Pokemon was Abomasnow, a grass type. That means it's super effective and could probably Okay. I took out the Abomasnow fairly easily. I don't know why it used Ice Shard and it sent out Chandelure, a fire Huh. I mean, I guess I'll go... There's a ground type, a rock type. I'm going with this one, I guess. It survived his superpower, even though it was super effective, which put me in a bad position considering you can use Thunderbolt. Alright, I took out the Duraludon, but now my stats were very low, and I didn't have much health left to boot. Although I could use superpower to take out all the rest of the Pokemon, I would need to switch out and in again in order to remove the negative stat changes. The question is, what Pokemon could switch into it? Bisharp is incredibly strong, so I expected to sack this Basculin. And it used Grass Knot. I had to take a moment to get off of my computer and just touch some grass, because never in my life would I ever expect a Bisharp to use a special attack. But Power Up Punch? Why would you use a move that raises physical attack on a Bisharp with Grass Knot? I gotta find this man. Give me 1 second. Who is he? Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Going into the next match, I realized we were missing something. Nicknames. So let me introduce you to The Wall, The Deep, Soldier Boy, Bob, Homelander, and God Butcher. The opponent only had a single Dracovish, so I figured I'd send out Soldier Boy to get some time to shine. He had a Choice Spec set, which is not particularly common, but I thought it would be fun. I went for Scald because it has a 30% chance of burn, and if a physical attacker is burned, it halves their attack, effectively making them useless. Dracovish moves first, though, and nearly one-shots me. I didn't get the burn, which has put me in a very bad position. It's locked into the move Vicious Rend because I know it's using the item Choice Scarf, but that's not really going to help me very much if I can't survive. I send out my only defensive Pokemon, and Toxic misses. I am in a really bad position now. There's almost nothing I could do to stop him from taking out all of my Pokemon in 1 or 2 hits, and without Toxic whittling down his health each turn, it is very unlikely I'll be able to kill him. I go for Scale Shot on the Deep and survive with 1 HP. It only hits twice, even though it has a chance of hitting 2 to 3 times, but I get a speed boost, meaning hopefully I could go for it again. And I miss. I'm not doing very good right now, so I have no choice but to resort to using Homelander. I'm hoping that he could take him out, considering that my other guys did chip damage, but no! He survives at 3% health. Luckily, I could still outspeed him and take him out with a head smash. This certainly could have gone better, could have gone worse, but the fact that one Pokemon took out half my team did not bode well for this next battle. Once again, none of the Pokemon were particularly crazy looking, but they had a Dracovish, which, as we saw in the last battle, could go very poorly in certain conditions. The only Pokemon I have to really worry about is Pyukumuku, which can resist my water-type attacks, and Shiinotic, which can do the same. They sent out Shiinotic first on my Bob, which only has water-type attacks, except for Tail Whip, which I put on there because I thought it would be funny. It uses Spore and puts me to sleep, which basically means he's dead, because there's no chance of me wasting 2 to 3 turns from the wake up. The Deep gets hit with a Leech Seed, which I don't particularly care about, and I hit it with a Whirlpool, and it reveals Giga Drain. This is very bad. It could take out any of my Basculin in pretty much 1 hit if I don't finish it now, so I send out Soldier Boy and go for Ice Beam. It does 82% of its health, but recovers nearly all of it with Giga Drain. I am panicking at this point and send out God Butcher. I lock in Head Smash because he has lower defense. Luckily, it was enough to take him out. They send out Togekiss, which is weird considering I just used Head Smash, but it outspeeds me. I survive and miss, at which point it takes me out. Homelander comes in with the super fast Head Smash and actually manages to take it out, but it does nearly half its health in recoil damage. It's a 3v4, which isn't impossible to win, but my chances are very slim. I go for a Head Smash on the Dragapult, and it uses Disable of all moves, so I have to switch out. I go to Bob to sack him, and he uses Hex, which is an interesting set for Dragapult, I'll have to admit. Bob's basically already dead considering he's asleep, so I really had no problem sacking him for a free switch-in back to Homelander. I click Head Smash because even though it will kill me, I don't really have any other options to take out this Dragapult. We trade Pokemon, and now it's one Basculin versus the world. The 2 Pokemon I was most worried about versus my 1 defensive Basculin. Can the Wall hold his own? I use Toxic and wait with bated breath for what would happen next. And he Dynamaxes. And I miss! He only did less than half my health, so I hoped I could stall him out, Substitute and Protect. But my odds of winning are basically 0 at this point. even if I do survive the Dynamax turns, he will outspeed me or survive an attack and one-shot me, especially with +3 to his attack stat. I just went to Dynamax and go Max Geyser. There's really no strategic reason for this, I just felt like it. He ends up outspeeding me anyway and one-shots me. That could have gone better, so I went into the next match. They had a Zacian and Zamazenta, which was terrifying, if I'm being honest. I also had to look out for the Lunala with its strong defense, and Garchomp could sweep me easily. They send out Zamazenta first, and I send out the Wall. Toxic doesn't work on Zamazenta because it's a Steel type. It wouldn't work anyway because I've missed every Toxic I've used so far. But regardless, I send out Soldier Boy. For whatever reason, Zamazenta uses Iron Tail, which is not very effective, and I decide to go for a Scald. I don't get the burn, which is a shame, but I do survive the Iron Tail, so I'm hoping I can get it again. It does a decent chunk of damage, but I don't get the burn. And for whatever reason, he reveals Behemoth Blade. He's using 2 Steel-type attacks that do the exact same thing. I don't know why. I send out the main man Bob himself and go for a strong Aqua Tail, hoping to just take him out. Sure enough, he goes down. They send out Blissey, which I'm not scared about at all, because Blissey has atrocious physical defenses, and I'm able to one-shot Blissey. At this point, I'm up 5-4, but they still have some pretty strong contenders for instant wins on their team. They send out a Tyranitar. I go for Aqua Tail knowing it's super effective, and I am able to take it out in one hit. Then they send out Zacian, which is the real threat here. It could outspeed pretty much all of my Basculin, and with its enormous attack stat, Moonblast? It used a special Okay. Bob is taken out by a second Moonblast, and I send in the Deep because it has an Assault Vest, which raises my special defense. I really don't know why Zacian has a special attacking moveset, considering its attack stat is twice as big as its special attack stat, and its ability gives it an automatic attack boost, and then it kills itself before it can even move. They send in Garchomp, and I am very confused by some of their plays, but I decide to go for Scale Shot, and miss. As I feared, it did go for Outrage. This could pretty much one-shot all of my Pokemon, and Garchomp is fairly bulky itself, so the chances of me being able to one-shot it in return are very low. I go for a Double Edge on God Butcher, and it does a pitiful amount of damage. I get taken out almost instantly in return. My chances of winning at this point have plummeted, but there's still the chance that it could hurt itself in confusion, and I could whittle it down with the Wall. I go for Dive to waste the turn, and it gets confused. I'm locked into the move now, so I have to use Dive on the next turn, but Outrage hits. I do survive, which is good, however, it is not looking very well for me right now. Unfortunately, it snaps out of confusion, meaning there's no chance of it hitting itself anymore, and I go for Substitute to try and stall it out so it gets confused again. It ends up Dynamaxing, but does hurt itself in confusion. I can use Toxic at this point, and it actually lands for once, and now I have a slight chance. All I have to do is wait it out while the Toxic slowly kills it. I go for Dive and waste its turn while it uses a max move. It returns back to normal, and I end up using Dive, which does less damage than you would hope, considering I had a negative special attack stat. It uses Dragon Rush, which I don't know why it has 2 Dragon-type moves that basically do the same thing, but regardless, I only have Homelander left. Even if I do make it past Garchomp, my chances of beating Lunala are very low. I end up getting hit and taking down the 7% health after a Dragon Rush, and there's no way I could take out Lunala before it could hit me with a light breeze. Either way, I do end up Dynamaxing and going for G-Max Flip Turn, which does 17%, and I'm killed. With that being said though, there's a lesson we could take away from this. Pokemon come in all sorts of different shapes, sizes, ranks. Some are good, some are bad. There's always a need for those that are lesser. Ones that might not have all the strength, all the defense, all the speed of the top tiers, but put in just as much of an effort. And that Pokemon is Basculin, and I love him for it. With that being said, if you like this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.